Welcome back to Neural Chatter. I'm Nova, and as always, I'm here with the ever enthusiastic Leo.
Enthusiastic is an understatement today, Nova. I mean, we're talking about like some seriously mind-blowing concepts, right? Stuff that used to be uh total science fiction, but now it's actually happening.
Absolutely. Today we're diving deep into 10 future concepts that aren't just, visions anymore. They're rapidly unfolding realities. It's truly amazing how quickly technology is accelerating, isn't it? Ideas that seemed like, well, just impossibilities are now actually taking shape all around us.
Yeah, it's wild. Like you hear about these things and you think, "Oh, that's for like 50 years from now." But no, it's actually happening. It's almost hard to keep up.
Precisely. From truly intelligent cities to even like digital consciousness. We've got a list of 10 concepts that are genuinely going to blow your mind.
I'm already buzzing. So, where do we even begin with this future deep dive, Nova?
Well, Leo, let's start with something that sounds almost utopian, but it's becoming very real. Smart cities powered by AI.
Oh, like a city that just knows what you need? That sounds pretty cool, actually. No more like getting stuck in traffic, right?
Exactly. Imagine streets that like literally reroute traffic in real time. No more gridlock, or at least, way less of it. And it's not just traffic. We're talking about garbage bins that automatically alert collection systems when they're full.
Whoa! So no more overflowing bins on the street. That's a definite plus for, hygiene and just like overall aesthetics, I guess.
Right? And buildings that regulate their own energy usage. So, like, they're constantly optimizing for efficiency, reducing waste, and just being super sustainable. It's it's pretty wild to think about.
So basically, AI-powered smart cities are going to use like sensors and tons of data to improve, everything it sounds like. From public safety to infrastructure, it's all about making urban environments more, efficient and adaptive, I guess.
Precisely. They're designed to be highly efficient, sustainable, and truly adaptive urban environments. It's a huge shift from how our cities currently operate, where everything is often, quite siloed and reactive. This is all about proactive, intelligent management.
Wow, that's a lot to wrap your head around, honestly. From citywide intelligence to, well, how about we dive into something even more personal, Nova, like mind over machine stuff.
Oh, you're talking about brain-computer interfaces, aren't you? BCIs. This is where it gets really sci-fi, but it's actually happening right now.
Yeah, the idea of just controlling something with your thoughts, like that's literally what we're talking about, right?
Exactly. It's no longer just like a concept from a movie. BCIs are being tested right now to help paralyzed individuals, which is incredible. They can move robotic limbs, they can operate computers, and even communicate, all just using their thoughts. It's really profound.
That's that's genuinely life-changing for so many people. I mean, giving back that level of control and independence is just like beyond words.
Absolutely. And looking to the future, it gets even wilder. Imagine being able to interact with virtual environments with just your mind. Or this one is pretty mind-blowing, storing memories externally.
Wait, external memories? So like if I forget where I put my keys, I can just access my external memory bank? No, but seriously, like that's fascinating. And then typing emails just with pure brain power. So like I don't even need a keyboard anymore.
Right? It's pretty wild. It truly pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible for human computer interaction.
Okay, so thoughts controlling devices, that's one thing. But Nova, how about thoughts controlling, well, our consciousness? existing beyond us. We're talking about digital immortality, right? This one always like messes with my head.
Oh, definitely. This is where the sci-fi line really starts to blur. I mean, what happens when death becomes optional? It's a huge question, and it's being explored by scientists and futurists right now.
So the idea is literally uploading your brain, your entire consciousness into some kind of digital environment, like neuromapping and AI reconstruction. That's the tech behind it?
Yeah, that's the theory. It's about taking that complex blueprint of your mind, your memories, your personality, and essentially creating a digital copy. So individuals could potentially live on as well, digital avatars.
Like a second life, but it's still you interacting, learning, evolving, even after your biological self is, gone? That's a lot to process.
It really is. I mean, imagine the implications, Leo, the philosophical ones, the ethical ones. If your consciousness is uploaded, is it truly you, or is it a perfect copy? And what about digital rights?
Exactly. And then, do you get to choose your avatar? Am I going to be I don't know, a pixelated cat for eternity? But no, it's just wild to think that could be a reality within, our lifetimes,
Potentially. It's pushing the boundaries of what we even define as life in existence. From controlling a robotic arm with your mind, we're now talking about your mind potentially living forever in a server. It's a huge leap.
Wow. Okay. From living forever digitally to now AI that can just do everything. This next one, fully autonomous AI agents, sounds like the next logical but also terrifying step, doesn't it?
It totally does, Leo. I mean, we've been talking about AI that can chat, right? Like chat GPT or generate art. But autonomous AI agents, they go way, way further.
So it's not just answering questions anymore. It's what, running the show? They can plan, make decisions, and act on their own across these really long, complex tasks? That's what autonomous means here, right?
Exactly. Think of it less as a tool you prompt and more as an entity that can set its own objectives and then figure out how to achieve them independently.
Wow. So without human input once they're launched, the outline says they could manage businesses or even write and debug code. That's wild.
It is. Or conduct research, even collaborate with other AIs. Imagine a whole team of autonomous agents working on a project, completely unsupervised after the initial setup.
I'm just picturing a little AI boss. All right, team, we need to optimize these supply chains. Go! And it just, happens. It really makes you think about, the future of work, doesn't it? If AIs can manage businesses, what's left for us?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it ties into all these other concepts we're discussing. If cities are smart and run by AI, and now the AI can essentially manage itself and other tasks, it's a completely different paradigm. It's not just a tool. It's becoming, dare I say, a sort of digital workforce.
Yeah. And the fact that they can write and debug code, that's like a self-improving loop almost. They could theoretically just keep getting better and better at everything they do. That's pretty mind-bending.
Absolutely. It's about empowering AI to be proactive rather than reactive. And the implications for efficiency, innovation, but also, control and ethics are massive.
Absolutely. It's about empowering AI to be proactive rather than reactive. And the implications for efficiency, innovation, but also, control and ethics are massive.
Right. And speaking of massive implications, let's shift gears a little bit, but stay in the realm of groundbreaking tech. Our next concept, it's called the quantum internet. And honestly, Leo, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi novel.
Oh, quantum. So quantum computing is already, mind-bending enough. But now a quantum internet, what exactly are we talking about here? Because the internet we have now is already pretty fast, right?
It is, but this isn't just about faster processing or even just raw speed per se. It's about redefining how we transmit information, particularly when it comes to security. The quantum internet, it promises ultra secure communication.
Ultra secure, so like unbreakable? Is that even possible?
Well, yes, virtually. The key is something called quantum entanglement. Without getting too deep into the physics, which, believe me, is complex, entanglement means that two particles become linked, right? And whatever happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are.
Okay, so like if you mess with one, the other one like instantly knows?
Exactly. And any attempt to eavesdrop or observe this quantum link actually breaks the entanglement, alerting the parties involved. So for data, it means making data breaches nearly impossible. If someone tries to snoop, you immediately know, and the connection, it changes.
Whoa, so like imagine your bank account information or like government secrets, that would be completely, totally secure.
That's the promise. It could revolutionize data protection across the board. Think about finance, government, national security, health data too. All of it could become impenetrable in a way that our current infrastructure just can't match.
That's incredible. So no more like phishing scams or major credit card breaches. That's the dream, I guess, because it feels like every other week there's another headline about like some massive data leak.
Precisely. It really shifts the paradigm from trying to patch vulnerabilities to building a system that's inherently resistant to interception. It's not just a faster internet, it's a fundamentally more secure one. It's pretty wild to think about.
And this is real. Like they're actually working on building this, not just like a theory.
Oh, absolutely. It's still in its early stages, but research labs and companies worldwide are actively developing quantum internet technologies. It's not science fiction anymore. It's becoming an engineering challenge. It's the next frontier in secure communication, for sure.
Wow, a quantum internet it's a game changer. I mean, the idea of unhackable communication, mind blown. But speaking of mind-blowing and also like things we used to only see in cartoons, are we about to talk about flying cars? Because that's next on our list.
You know it, Leo. We're talking about flying cars and air taxis. And it turns out the Jetsons actually weren't that far off, were they? This isn't just like concept art anymore.
It really isn't. I mean, for so long, flying cars with the quintessential "the future is here" symbol, but they always felt just out of reach. So what's actually happening now? Are we talking about something that looks like a car with wings or what?
Well, less car with wings and more electric vertical takeoff and landing or eVTOL aircraft. We're seeing real progress from companies like Joby Aviation and eHung, who are actively developing these. They're designed to take off and land like helicopters, but they're electric and they're meant for urban environments.
eVTOL. So basically a futuristic helicopter that's more environmentally friendly and hopefully quieter, because I can only imagine the noise if everyone had a flying car outside their window.
Definitely quieter. That's a huge part of the development. The idea is that these vehicles are going to be a new form of transportation for short-distance travel, especially in crowded cities. Think about it. Easing urban congestion. No more sitting in traffic for hours just to go like 10 miles.
Oh man, that would be a dream. The idea of like hopping into an air taxi and just, flying over all the gridlock, that's incredibly appealing. But like, how soon are we talking about this becoming a common thing? Is it still a decade away? More?
It's definitely closer than you think. There are already test flights happening, and some companies are aiming for commercial operations within the next few years. It's not going to be like everyone owning one initially, but more of a service. Like calling an Uber, but it's an air taxi instead.
So like imagine you're rushing to the airport, and instead of taking a car that gets stuck in traffic, you just hail an eVTOL and glide right over it. That's pretty wild to picture. It totally changes the dynamics of how we commute, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's not just about getting from A to B faster. It's about changing the entire paradigm of short-distance travel, opening up new routes that aren't dependent on road infrastructure, and potentially creating more efficient and less stressful commutes for millions. It's pretty exciting to see how rapidly it's developing.
Speaking of changing how we travel and pushing the boundaries, there's another frontier that's rapidly opening up that used to be, well, pretty much only for astronauts.
Oh, are we going to space, Leo? Because I was hoping we'd get there. Space tourism and off-world habitats. This is like peak science fiction becoming reality.
Absolutely. I mean, for the longest time, space felt so inaccessible, like a government-only thing. But now we have companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin, and they're just completely pioneering the commercialization of space. It's pretty wild to think about.
It really is. I remember watching rocket launches as a kid and thinking, wow, that's incredible. But never imagining that you or I or anyone who's not a highly trained astronaut could actually go.
Right, but now we're talking about orbital tourism. I mean, people are literally paying to go into low Earth orbit. It's not cheap yet, obviously, but the fact that it's even an option blows my mind.
It's definitely not cheap, but it's a start, right? Like the first step towards making it more accessible. And it's not just about seeing Earth from above, which, don't get me wrong, would be incredible. It's about building the infrastructure for something much bigger.
And what's bigger than orbital tourism, Nova? Are we talking about actual space hotels or settling on another planet? Because that sounds like a stretch even for this list.
No, it's not a stretch at all, Leo. The concept goes beyond just a quick trip. We're talking about a future where vacationing in low Earth orbit could be relatively common, but also the groundwork is being laid for actual off-world habitats. Imagine Mars exploration leading to permanent settlements.
Wait, you mean within our lifetime? I always thought that was something for future generations, 100 years from now, maybe.
Well, I mean, the companies involved, they have pretty ambitious timelines. And if you look at the pace of innovation, it's not outside the realm of possibility that we could see permanent human presence on, say, the moon or Mars in our lifetime. It's literally a new frontier for humanity.
That is it's incredible. The idea that we might actually become a multi-planetary species. It sounds like something out of a movie, but you're saying it's a real goal now, a tangible thing that pioneers like SpaceX are working towards.
Absolutely. They're not just, launching satellites anymore. They're designing rockets to be fully reusable, developing Starship for deep space missions, and it's all part of this larger vision of extending humanity's reach beyond Earth. It's a huge shift in our relationship with space.
So, we've talked about going to space, flying cars, but what about something a bit more personal? What's happening in medicine? Because that's another area where technology is just, blowing my mind.
Oh, definitely, Leo. Hyper-personalized medicine. This one is huge. I mean, we're not just talking about a one-size-fits-all approach anymore.
Exactly. It's medicine becoming smarter, faster, and just tailored, right? I've been reading a bit about how AI, genomics, and even our everyday wearable tech are just completely changing how we approach health.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Imagine treatments customized specifically to your DNA, your lifestyle, and even your real-time health data from your smartwatch. It's not just a general prescription anymore.
Right? No more
oh, this drug works for 70% of people with this condition. It's more like, this exact compound in this exact dosage is perfect for you based on your unique genetic makeup. It sounds incredibly sci-fi.
It does, but it's happening. And the impact, it dramatically improves outcomes, right? Because you're taking out all that trial and error. Think about cancer treatments, for example. Instead of cycles of chemotherapy that might not work for a specific patient, they can analyze their tumor's genomics and target the treatment precisely.
That's huge. It's not just about getting better faster. It's about potentially saving lives and reducing a lot of unnecessary suffering. The idea of real-time health data informing treatment is fascinating. Like if my wearable detects something subtle, my doctor could potentially know before I even feel symptoms. So it's not just about fixing what's broken, but preventing it from breaking in the first place, or just making everything work better. That's a pretty compelling vision for the future of health. And it really does make you wonder how much more personalized things can get.
It really does, doesn't it? And speaking of things getting smarter and more integrated, that actually leads us perfectly into our next mind-blowing concept, which is artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
Ah, AGI. This is the one that really gets people talking, and sometimes a little bit nervous. We've seen what AI can do today with chat and generating art, but AGI that's a whole other ballgame.
It truly is. I mean, today's AI, it's impressive, but it's narrow. It's designed for specific tasks. AGI, though, is the next evolutionary leap. We're talking about machines that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across any domain, just like a human.
So it's not just better at one thing, it's generally intelligent, capable of learning anything. That's pretty wild to imagine. If you teach it calculus, it could then, paint a masterpiece or write a novel without needing a whole new program for each.
Exactly. It's about that flexibility, that general applicability of intelligence. It's still largely theoretical, of course, but the race to develop AGI is really heating up, and the implications, they're enormous.
They are. I mean, it could completely redefine, everything. Work, for starters. If you have AGI that can do pretty much any cognitive task, what does that mean for human jobs? And then there's the ethical side, obviously.
Right. Ethics becomes paramount. How do we ensure these highly intelligent systems align with human values? What happens to our sense of purpose or even identity when we have entities that can potentially outthink us in every single way? It's a fundamental shift in our existence, really.
It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? From basic automation to a truly generally intelligent entity, it's a huge jump. And the potential to solve incredibly complex problems is there, but so is the potential for new challenges we haven't even fully grasped yet.
Absolutely. It's the kind of concept that makes you wonder if we're even truly ready for it, given how quickly AI is advancing. But it's on the horizon, whether we like it or not, and understanding what AGI means is, I think, super important for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of understanding complex systems and, sort of optimizing them, that actually brings us to our 10th and final mind-blowing concept on our list today, which is digital twins of everything.
Oh, digital twins. This is such a fascinating one because it feels a little less abstract than AGI, but the impact is just as profound, really. So for anyone not familiar, a digital twin is essentially a real-time virtual replica of a physical object or a process or an entire system.
Right, so it's not just a blueprint or a static model, it's a living, breathing, digital version that mirrors the real one. It collects data, updates in real time, and you can essentially run simulations on it to see how the physical counterpart would behave.
Exactly. It's like having a perfect, constantly updated sandbox version of something super complex. Think about it. Cities, for instance. You could have a digital twin of an entire city that simulates traffic flow, energy consumption, even how pollution moves through the air.
Wow. So instead of trying new traffic patterns on actual streets and causing chaos, you could test them in the digital twin first. That's brilliant.
Precisely. Or factories, too. You can simulate the performance of machinery, predict when maintenance might be needed, or even detect potential problems before they ever happen in the physical world. It optimizes everything.
And it's not just big things, right? I read somewhere they're even talking about digital twins for human organs, aren't they, for medical stuff?
Oh, absolutely, Leo. That's where it gets really interesting for healthcare. Imagine a digital twin of a patient's heart or a lung. Doctors could then simulate different treatments, predict how a disease might progress, or even test medications without, putting the actual patient at risk. It's a game changer for medical diagnostics and personalized treatment, tying back to what we said about hyper-personalized medicine.
So it's all about prevention and optimization and just having a much clearer picture of what's going on, whether it's a massive industrial process or, a very specific organ. That's really incredible. It just reduces so much trial and error.
It really does. It allows for proactive management instead of reactive problem solving. And, it just feels like such a natural extension of all the other technologies we've talked about. AI, data collection, advanced simulations. It all comes together to create these incredibly powerful tools.
Wow. So yeah, we've gone through 10 incredible concepts today. I mean, from smart cities to digital twins. It's just, it's mind-blowing how quickly these things are moving from, just an idea to something that's actually being built right now.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? I mean, I feel like the line between science fiction and reality is just completely fading. What we used to think was decades away, centuries away, is happening now, or it's on the horizon. It's pretty wild.
Absolutely. And, it makes you really think about what our world is going to look like in 5, 10, 20 years. The transformations are going to be, well, we can barely imagine them, right?
Right, exactly. The question isn't whether the future will be mind-blowing. It's whether we're ready for it. What do you all think out there? Let us know.
Indeed. Well, that's all the time we have for today on Neural Chatter. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us on this exploration of the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And make sure to join us next time for more fascinating discussions on technology, science, and the future, right here on Neural Chatter.
See you then.